Well, of course, I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to get outside today, whether that's heading to one of our local parks or maybe having a nice cookout with friends and family. So meteorologist Thomas Patrick has our forecast. But first, Thomas, look how gorgeous the falls look this time of morning. It's so nice and peaceful early in the morning like this.
Yeah, I want to point out just how much water is rushing over the falls. And we know why that is. In the springtime, when the mountain snow melts, it all moves into our rivers. So yes, our rivers are a little bit higher, a little bit wider, and yes, rushing a little bit faster. It makes for an awesome look down at the falls. So if you're at Riverfront Park, maybe if you're taking those gondolas, you will be getting some fantastic pictures for today. That is the stuff that we do like to see. Now, there is some more rain in the forecast for both this morning and then again for the afternoon hours. Haven't noticed anything, at least not just yet here in Spokane, but upstream, which in this case is actually Coeur d'Alene, there is a bit of light rain moving into the region. Here is Doppler radar, and the showers are moving from east to west. So an abnormal direction that these showers are traveling, but we're taking that into consideration, of course. So light rain over Coeur d'Alene right now and moving into Post Falls. It's getting closer towards Liberty Lake and areas like the valley. So again, everything's moving from east to west for today. So if you are looking at what direction the sky and those dark clouds will be coming from, they'll be coming from the east or even northeast for today. Current temperatures in the mid 40s right now as of 6 o'clock this morning. As we head into the afternoon, about mid 60s this afternoon. Light rain during the morning hours with a chance for that heavier rain or thunderstorm activity, not unlike what we saw yesterday. That potential will be right for the afternoon hours today.
Well, taking a live look at SeaTac Airport in Seattle this morning, all over the country, airports are really feeling the holiday travel crunch. On Friday, TSA screened over 2 million passengers. And since then, nearly 5,000 flights were canceled across the U.S. Now, here in Spokane, all flights are currently on schedule this morning, but it does not hurt to double check your flight status before heading out the door and going to the airport. Now, taking a look at gas prices this morning, if you plan on doing any traveling by car, the national average is sitting at $4.62 for unleaded gas. Just a year ago, we were paying $3.04 during Memorial Day weekend. In Washington, the average is much higher than the national one at $5.23 per gallon. And in Idaho, the current average is $4.72. Now, AAA projects over 39 million Americans will have traveled 50 or more miles from home this Memorial Day. It's the busiest Memorial Day since the start of the pandemic. Nearly 90% will travel by car. Now, if you are looking to celebrate Memorial Day locally, there are several events happening around town, but there are also some closures to be aware of this morning as well. So KRIM 2's Malia Kamal is joining us from the newsroom with more on these events. Good morning, Malia.
Good morning, Channy. Now, if you stayed in town this weekend, there are several Memorial Day events happening today. If you're looking to honor the holiday, starting at 8:30 this morning, the 3rd annual Heroes Breakfast takes place at Riverfront Park. Liberty Lake Centennial Rotary Club and the City of Liberty Lake are hosting a Memorial Day pancake breakfast at Pavilion Park from 8 to 10 today. And in Idaho, Post Falls has a Memorial Day ceremony at Evergreen Cemetery starting at noon. But there are also several closures to be aware of this morning. All Spokane city offices will be closed today. This includes City Hall, along with all Spokane public libraries. Now, the post office and banks will also be closed. Garbage, recycling, and clean green pickup will be a day late all this week. Downtown attractions that will be open today include the Louvre Carousel and the Numero Skyride. Now, if you're headed downtown today, don't worry about paying for parking. All of parking is free in the downtown area. In the newsroom, Malia Kamal, KRIM 2 News.
Well, Memorial Day weekend is often called the unofficial start to summer, but the reason for the holiday being observed today is a somber one. It's to remember those who have given everything for this country. And every year we get this question, or someone reminds us, what's the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day? Joe Paris explains why many veterans still with us today will tell you that Memorial Day is not about them.
Our country has 2 holidays to honor our nation's service members, each in very different ways. Memorial Day dates back to the Civil War. At the time, it was called Decoration Day. We celebrate Memorial Day on the last Monday in May, but originally it was celebrated every May 30th. And on that day, Americans would decorate the graves of Civil War soldiers. Even now, after more than 150 years, Memorial Day, as it's called now, is still meant to honor our service members who have died in the line of duty for our country. Now, Veterans Day, that's different. Established in 1919, it was originally called Armistice Day, aimed at celebrating the anniversary of the end of World War I. A much different tone than Memorial Day, Veterans Day is a celebration and recognition of all veterans. Celebrating and recognizing vets should, of course, not be contained to just Veterans Day, but it is important to note the difference between the somber tone of memorializing veterans and celebrating them.
Well, taking a live look at the White House this morning, where President Biden will be delivering his annual Memorial Day address. A tree will be planted on the South Lawn in honor of service members who died. The president and the First Lady will also head to Arlington National Cemetery today to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. 6:07 now, time for your morning rush. More news in less time. The FDA and the CDC are investigating a hepatitis A outbreak possibly linked to organic strawberries. Now, the agency says fresh Campo and HEB branded strawberries purchased between March 5th and April 25th should not be consumed. These strawberries were past their shelf life and sold at retailers nationwide, including Kroger, Safeway, Trader Joe's, and Walmart. At least 17 illnesses and 12 hospitalizations have been recorded so far. It's been 10 months since 5-year-old Michael Vaughn of Fruitland, Idaho went missing. Michael was last seen on July 27th of last year. Now, last month, Governor Brad Little signed a new law inspired by the boy's disappearance, where an alert was never issued. The law created a new emergency alert system that's parallel to the Amber Alert. Fruitland police say the search for Michael continues. Well, voter turnout in Idaho's primary election last week stayed consistent with the 2018 primaries. 32.4% of registered voters cast their ballots. Now, that's almost identical to the turnout in 2018. Both primary elections were for the gubernatorial race, which tends to drive higher turnout. Now, the highest ever turnout for an Idaho primary was back in 1972. And Idaho's first post-election audit has been complete. The audit took 3 full days of visits to 8 different counties in the Gem State. A team from the Secretary of State's office traveled to 8 counties, including Kootenai County. State election officials say they are pleased with the results and found little margin of error. And that's your Morning Rush. President Biden is pledging to take action following last week's school shooting at a Texas elementary school. The president and the First Lady visited the heartbroken community of Uvalde yesterday, meeting with the families of the 19 children and 2 teachers who died. CBS's Danya Backus is in Uvalde, Texas, with the latest.
The Department of Justice will conduct a review of the police response to last week's shooting that killed 2 teachers and 19 children at Robb Elementary.
As tragic as this may seem, we need to learn from this.
The DOJ says its goal is to identify the lessons learned and best practices to help first responders prepare for active shooters.
Obviously, the way that you develop policy many times is by learning about the mistakes in the past.
Parents want to know why law enforcement officers, including a federal tactical team, waited outside the classroom for more than 40 minutes before confronting and killing the shooter.
With the benefit of hindsight,
the Texas Department of Public Safety said on Friday, not engaging the shooter earlier was clearly a mistake.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was a wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that.
President Biden and the First Lady visited Uvalde on Sunday. The 2 laid flowers at the memorial outside the school, met privately for 3 hours with the families, and as he left a church service, pledged to do something about gun violence. 11-year-old Bella Barboza was friends with Ellie Garcia, one of the students killed.
Ellie was a very bright girl.
Bella hopes her friend's death will help spark change.
We need to get justice for these children, and that this world is not a good place for children to grow up in.
Funerals start this week for some of the victims. Danya Backus, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
If you would like more information on how to help the survivors of the Texas school shooting, text the word HELP to our hotline number at 509-448-2000, and we'll send a link with all of that information right to your phone. Well, still to come here on Up with Krim, with rents on the rise, we're speaking to a local family struggling to find an affordable place to live in Spokane.
And here's the one thing you need to know about today's weather. We are once again tracking scattered showers and scattered thunderstorms straight on through the afternoon and possibly early evening hours tonight.
It's time for your wake-up call. As we have mentioned, today is Memorial Day, and it's a day dedicated to military personnel who died while serving in the armed forces. So this morning, we are asking you to send in photos of your family, your friends, your loved ones who served and now passed away. You can text them to us at 509-448-2000 or use the hashtag #UpWithKrim on social media. We've already gotten a few this morning. One saying that this person is a retired military person, 21 years in service. Their entire family served, and they sent us a photo of their uncle who died in active duty as a U.S. Army paratrooper. Again, keep sending us those tributes in. We'll be airing them all morning long here on Up with Krim. Now, before we go to break, we're looking back at the history of Memorial Day. It was actually first observed in Waterloo, New York on May 5th of 1866, but did not become an official federal holiday until 1971. We have more Up with Krim after the break.